Hi there, welcome to Board Games with Scott Live. So in this show, what I do is we play a game, and in this particular game, because this is a social game, I'm going to be playing with you. Now, if you're joining me live, welcome. This will be exciting. You'll be participating with me. If you are watching this afterwards in the recording, you can still participate because there's going to be a long pause while the chat tries to figure things out, and you can try to figure things out as well. So this will give you a great experience to see what Mysterium Park is like. Now, Mysterium Park is a small version of Mysterium, which was a large board game. This is more of a card game version. It has a small board, cards. This would travel very nicely, and as far as I can tell, it's going to be very similar in, very similar in experience to regular Mysterium, but it will be less expensive and easier to carry around, so that's always a good thing. This Board Games with Scott Live series is not designed as a nicely edited Board Games with Scott like I used to do. Instead, what this is really replicating what I used to do in my game lab, but we're all locked down now with the pandemic, and I wanted to still explore games. They were all piling up, and I was getting depressed about my piles of games, and I wanted to find some way to engage with people, to talk about games, explore games together. So I'm trying this streaming activity. So what's going on in Mysterium is there has been a murder! And the murderer is the director of the Mysterium Park has been murdered by one of his employees in a location, and it is your job to figure out who did it and where they did it and the details of the case. And that's going to be done through a series of eliminations. Now, there's going to be 6 rounds in which I am going to be trying to communicate with you information. And if you are successful at figuring out your information, then you will help me to, or I'm a ghost in the game, so one player is a ghost and has knowledge. Everyone else is a psychic, and the way the storyline here is in the first round, so these are cards. There are 9 possible characters. Your job is to figure out which 2 characters you are inhabiting. The story gets a little weird, but basically the idea for each player, and we're setting this up for 2 players, but it's the chat, you're going to be guessing on both. Because I just wanted it to be more than just guessing at one. So you'll be guessing yellow and purple. So your goal is in the first round to figure out who you are, and the second round to figure out where, and then the third round to figure out who done it. And the idea is that the people that I'm communicating to are not it. That's weird. Anyway, the way I'm going to know is they took a page out of Codenames. And so what goes on is I get a card like this. And this card I use as a grid, kind of like I would with Codenames, to look over on the map here. And this tells me, for example, that this is what the blue player is going for. This is what the pink player, the white player, the yellow player, the red player, this is what they're going for. The other 3 are potential suspects for the murder. And then the X is a witness. And so the way the witness works is if you guess the witness, I reveal it's the witness, and you get to move to something else on the board. So what's going to happen is in each round, I'm going to draw a hand of 7 cards. Now, the cards I have to draw from, much like a lot of these games, are these really pretty cards, lots of crazy pictures, not a lot of interpretation as to what they are. That's really your job, is to interpret it. I draw a hand of 7. I pick 1 or more to give to you to try and communicate to you which of the roles you happen to be, and you've got to figure that out. Usually what I do is then I have to sit quietly. In the real game, what you do is you draw 7, and you give 1 player a set of cards. You pick the player first, you draw 7, then you give 1 player 1 or more cards to help communicate the role. And then you draw back to 7 and you communicate to the next player, and etc. And so you work your way around the table. And then once all the cards are out, the team gets to discuss and figure out where they think things should go. So we're going to be looking at the chat. If you're participating in the chat and watching what's going on, you'll be deciding in the chat where you want to put your guesses. If you're playing at home, after the live chat is over, you just make a decision as to where you'd go. You'll see if you're right or wrong. If both players are right, then we move on to the locations. If not, we have another round of going for identities. And each time, this tick-tock clock is going to move down. And when it gets to 6, hello, David. When it gets to 6 turns, then if we have not figured out the combination of location and bad guy by that time, we lose the game. So we're going to get started. Now, to introduce what we've got on the board right now, we have the fortune teller, we have the security guard, we have the ballerina, we have the Houdini, the escape artist, we have the ringmaster, we have the clown, we have the dancer, we have the candy seller, Candyman, and we have the musician. So now I'm going to look at one of these cards, and it's going to tell me for yellow and purple what I'm trying to communicate. So that's what we've got. All right, so I'm going to communicate for yellow first, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 7 cards. Now, you don't have to start guessing until you see both sets of cards, and then you can start to figure out which is yellow and which is purple. So I get to pick 7 cards, and I get to pick from these which ones I want to try to use to communicate to you what is going on. And of course, what happens with all these games, it's like everything is horrible. Nothing makes any sense. So there's one for you. Now I can use as many cards as I want, but because of the way I've got the camera set up, I'm going to limit myself to 2, up to 2, if there's not a second one. I also have 3 tickets, and during the game, I can throw away a ticket to get 7 new cards. All right, I'm just going to give you that single card, and now I'm going to do the same thing for purple. So purple is that one. I'm going to draw another set of 7 cards and try to give you some ideas of what you are seeing or who you are. Oh, that looks pretty good. There's a purple one. Is there anything else that's interesting? So I can put as many as I want, but of course, the more you put, the more you risk. No, that would send the wrong message. So you can start talking in the chat if you think you have some idea of what that might be. I'm going to go ahead and do those 2. So there we go. That is what you've got. So for the yellow, you have this single card. I'll hold it up so you can see a little closer. So for that, you can decide what you think it happens to be, which of these roles. So again, you've got the fortune teller, security guard, juggler, the escape artist, the ringmaster, the clown, the dancer, the Candyman, or the musician. So that is the yellow card. And then for the purple card, we have 2 cards. So we have this card. And we have this card. So I'm going to give you a few minutes now in the chat or at home to try and figure out what roles I am communicating for each of these. So if you have an idea in the chat, type it in. If you have a guess, type it in. If you just want to sort of puzzle it out, feel free to type it in. We'll see what happens. And at home, you can figure out what you think. Where would you put your guesses? And I will drink my coffee and wait for you to think about what's going on. Now, the difficulty of this kind of game is that as the giver, I only have 7 cards to look at, and they may make no sense whatsoever. So again, of all of the roles, which one do you think that is the closest to? And of all the roles, which do you think these 2 are trying to communicate? So if you have an idea, put it in the chat. At home, hopefully you have some guesses. We'll give you about a minute more to figure out your guess, and then we will move on and see how it worked out. Yes, this is difficult. Though there's balloon animals, there's a person sleeping, there's a leaping. I'm trying to pick elements on the card that are big so that you can see them from where you are. So we have someone guessing that pink is the candy seller. So we have a guess there. All right, and so we think that yellow might be the clown. We've got some guesses there. So I'm going to go ahead and just move ahead and we'll lock those in. So I'm going to look at the card. Now, if any of these were the witness, I would tell you that right now. And then people could move around. But I will tell you that both of them are wrong. So we go on to round 2. And now's the point where I'm like, ah, crap, I didn't even think about that. So I'm now, when round 2, we leave these cards out. I'm going to add more to them. I think I can remove cards too if something doesn't really work so well. So now you know that these 2 are not correct guesses. So I'm going to give some more clues here. There's that for the purple. Oh boy. Oh wait. Yes, I just do one. So I'll just do purple first. All right. So so purple, I'm going to give 2 more cards. I'll hold them up while I figure out the next set. So that's a purple card. And that one is a purple card. So I'll put those 2 down. And then I will figure out, while you talk about purple, I will figure out my yellow. Now, you know it's not what you had before. Nope. Oh, that's not a bad one. All right, and this is going to be my single one for the yellow. So these are your new cards to guess from. You got this one. So we'll give the chat a minute to figure out what they think I am trying to communicate. Again, the roles, fortune teller, security guard, juggler, escape artist, ringmaster, clown, dancer, Candyman, musician. I'll show you the cards up close again. We got this one. We got this one. And we got this one. So it looks like we got ringmaster for purple. Looks like the guess the chat's coming to. All right, and for yellow. Again, you had this one. And this one. Oh, we have someone else with a different idea for purple, so we'll not lock that in yet. So looks like we have a guess of yellow for the juggler at this point. And looks like there was still some discussion going on with the purple, if you want to go back to that. So I think we will go ahead and lock in these 2. So we have ringmaster and juggler. I'm going to check to see if either are the witness. Neither is the witness, and both are wrong. So we go on to round 3. Wow, I'm horrible at this game. All right, let's try again. Round 3. Oh, gosh. Okay. So we're gonna, hello Joe. So we're gonna do this for yellow. That's bad. This is all horrible. Okay, and now get some more cards here for purple. No, it's the game. The game is hard. We're gonna do that one. And we'll add in that one. And we'll add in this one. So I'll show you the cards. So the new cards we have for the yellow is this. To go along with this. And the new cards on purple is this. And this one. And this one. Okay, so we've got several guesses for dancer for yellow. So I'll put that one over there for now. What do you think for the purple? So I'm seeing some discussion about, I guess, last round about the security guard. So we'll put purple on security guard. And yay, both are right. Hooray. All right. So we've made it halfway through the game. We've solved one puzzle, but that's okay. We'll turn around. We'll turn it around. So, good job. All right, so we now move on to the, I'm going to pull the three that on the card here didn't match up with any colors. These three are going to come into the last round of the game. The others go away. And now we're going to put out locations. Now we're going to do the same thing. We have 3 more rounds, so we have to be a little faster, and that's fine. We can pull this off. So our locations are, we have a ride, like it looks like a ghost house or like the Haunted Mansion, like a ride, because this is like a theme park. We have, it looks like it's a Small World boat ride, sort of a family ride. We have a merry-go-round or carousel. We have, looks to be like a ballroom. We'll go with ballroom. So a ballroom. We have a stage. We have an occult, like a fortune reader's tent. We have bumper cars. We have a carnival game, ball toss. And we have the circus big top itself, the main ring. So to run through the locations again, we have the Haunted Mansion, the ghost ride. We have, it's a Small World boat ride. We have a merry-go-round. We have a ballroom. We have or a dance studio. We have a stage. We have a fortune-telling tent. We have bumper cars. We have a ball toss game. And we have the main ring, the circus. So again, I'm going to draw 7 cards. I draw a new card to tell me purple and yellow. Okay. And here we go. Okay. Okay. I think we're going to go with, whoop, get the colors right. Okay, so there's one for the yellow. Anything else I like here? That's pretty much the only one I like for the yellow. I'll show that to you big and close. Now for the purple, take another set of cards. Ooh. Oh, that one. And that one. Ooh, yeah, sure. Okay, so again, I'll show you what we got. So for the yellow, we have this. It's like some kind of a, I can't say anything because I can't interpret it the way I would interpret it for you. And then for the purple, we have this one and this one. See if you can figure out what I'm trying to communicate as the ghost. So we've got David, who thinks he guesses the Small World ride because of the color palette. He's guessing for the purple, the theater, because it matches with the theater. David guesses, let's see, Alan guesses Haunted Mansion. That could be ballroom 2 or theater. We've got several guesses going on here. And your role as the ghost is you have to sit there and just cringe as you listen to people have their discussions and you realize how horrible you were in picking the card you did. All right, so we got several people saying pink is theater. We'll go ahead and put that one on there. Now yellow. I'll show you this one a little closer. Have any idea what it is showing? So far, we only have a single guess of the Small World ride. So I'll give you a few more seconds to take your guess here. It looks like the kid is oh, I guess I shouldn't say. All right, so it looks like we've got Small World ride. We'll go ahead and go forward just to go forward with that. Let me check the card here. That's the wrong card. That's last turn's card. Okay, so purple is correct with the stage. That one is done. One is not correct. So now we go on and we're just guessing at yellow. Now, we need to get this in this round. This is going to be important to give us a chance to succeed at the game, which means I need to not screw up. Oh, boy. The tough part is not giving you wrong information, and it's very difficult to not do that. I'm going to spend a ticket and get rid of these cards and draw another hand of 7 cards, because none of those cards help. So I have 3 tickets to spend throughout the game to help with that. No, that's no good. Well, maybe that's okay. I guess we'll do that. And no. I guess that's going to be it. So again, you know, stage is out. You've done stage. So here's your new card. And there's the old card. So we got a guess of circus. So we actually have 2 rounds left. We have to guess both of these in 6 rounds, and if we do, then we go on to the final guess, because you only get 1 shot at the final guess. Looks like we got several guesses of circus stage, so we'll go ahead and lock that in. Circus stage is correct. Yay! All right, we made it. We've made it to the final round. And we get 1 shot at this. So I pull the 3 cards that were not part of this one, which are, if I take the right card, there we go. And 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So now, the way this works for the final round, we're now going to pair these up. So this is how this works. We take the 3 locations that were not used, and we take the 3 people that were not used. And now this creates 3 possibilities. It's either the musician inside the fortune teller's hut, or the clown inside the bumper cars, or the ringleader inside the ball toss. 1, 2, or 3. Now each of these little secret cards tells me it has a 1, 2, or 3 on it. So now I know which one it is. Now the way this works is I get to lay out 2 guesses. The first batch is going to be telling you the person. The second batch is telling you the location. You have to figure out if it's 1, 2, or 3, and this is the game. Win or lose, it happens on this 1 round. So I'm going to draw 7. Now this is trying to communicate. Let me make sure I'm doing that right. Let me check the rules. Please stand by to make sure it's the combo. I believe that is right. Exactly 2 cards. All right. So I did that wrong. I give you 2 cards and 2 cards only to communicate the scene. And that is all you get. It's 2 cards from me. And I mix them up. And so I pick a hand of 7. So I was about ready to run the final round completely wrong. So I've set that all up. Right. So I'm going to pick a hand of 7. I'm going to pick 2 cards, and that's all you get. And that those 2 cards, you have to figure out which combo it is. So I know it is that. So I need to figure out. Oh, boy. Oh, I like that one. I like that one. Okay. Now, I'm going to be mixing these up before you see them, so I can't tell you which it is, which is communicating what. Just know it's going to either be, I read that wrong. I guess these are the best 2. Yeah, I guess we'll go with that. Okay, so here we go. These are the 2 cards. So these two cards are going to communicate to you either the musician in the fortune teller's hut, or the clown in the bumper cars, or the ringmaster at the ball toss game. Here we go. These are your two cards to communicate one of those three combos. So this is the first card. This is the second card. That's all you get. And this is it. Game was won or lost on this single guess of whether you think it is 1, 2, or 3. Again, I'll show them to you. Here's the first one. Here's the second one. So chat's saying, Alan, I'm thinking 1 person is dancing. That house has a very fortune teller hut. David, the black cat, the opening in the card, fortune teller hut. Noob, yeah, the black cat is the fortune teller. It sounds like the chat is leaning towards the musician in the fortune teller hut. And the chat is right. Yay, we win the game. You're all so brilliant. Yay. You figured it out. I was a little worried there because that was kind of a routine, but you're right. There was nothing for music in my hand, and that was kind of the closest I had to indicate music. And you nailed that, as I think this was our winning card there that helped us indicate fortune telling. And you have succeeded at the game of Mysterium Park. Hooray, chat. Hooray. How'd you do at home if you weren't playing this live? Did you succeed? Did you fail? Did you enjoy the game? So now you have an idea of what Mysterium Park is all about. You've played an entire game of it. I could see that if you played it with the same group again and again, you might get a little tired of the smaller subset of cards and themes, because it's all going to have the same sort of theme parky stuff. I like theme parky stuff. So for me, it's something I like. I also see this as a game that I would take on cruise ships. I always look for games because it's much smaller than Mysterium, and it's a theme that would be popular with the sort of people that cruise. It is nice having everything with a similar theme. So these are all different. Everything's set in this carnival world, and so the artwork really brings that about. And they've made a good job of picking artwork on all of these cards that will help you convey these. So because of the limited scope, it's a little easier, I think, than regular Mysterium. So there you go. Thank you, chat, for playing along. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. That ends this episode of Board Games with Scott Live, and hopefully you've decided if Mysterium Park is a game for you. Take care, and I'll see you all on another episode. And if you like all these, you can head over to on YouTube, go to S. Nicholson, and there's a Board Games with Scott Live playlist where I put all of these so you can see what's going on. Take care, and I will talk to you all on another episode. Bye-bye.